Hey friends, Tom Wiley here. I just wanted to encourage you with something that God had encouraged me with a little over 2 years ago in our move from North Idaho down here to South Central Missouri. Partway into our trip, we had to leave behind in Montana a trailer full of a lot of the stuff that we were trying to move down here to Missouri. It was a lot longer before I was able to go up and retrieve it. I did end up getting to retrieve it though and bring that stuff down here, and we've been using that stuff since then. But it was a very stretching time, a very trying time. This is footage that I recorded then in our trip, in the heat of everything going on and in the stress of all the stuff we were going through. I realized that I had not posted this yet, and I need to. So let's go back. Over 2 years ago, 2021, our trip down here, and what God did to encourage me in the middle of one of my lowest times. I am not in the greatest mood right now because of what is going on with our move, but we have a plan forward. So we're mid-move to Missouri. We're not quite halfway there from North Idaho. We are in Billings, Montana tonight. Our plan was to at least get to Sheridan, Wyoming tonight, but that didn't happen because this trailer pulling behind the Yukon works, and it works for me, but it doesn't work for Sarah. She's not quite experienced enough driving trailers. We've added weight distribution hitch and sway control, and it works so I can drive it up to 60 miles an hour easy, but it doesn't feel good for Sarah. So what we're trying to get to is me driving the U-Haul, pulling the horse trailer, Sarah driving only the Yukon with the kids in it. So that means leaving the flatbed trailer with all the trailers and chicken tractors and supplies and stuff that's on it. That means leaving it here. We're gonna park it in a storage facility. Hopefully in a week or so, I will drive back up here, hitch up to that trailer, and drive it home to Missouri. So we'll see how that goes. Meantime though, before hopefully, well, it's nightfall already. Before it gets too late, I need to offload the critical stuff from this load onto the the top of the horse trailer and the top of the Yukon, so that we can get it home. So that we're not limping too bad for the coming week or whatever it is that I'm not able to get this there. So I have some of my most used and critical tools are in totes in the front, and our mattresses in there, and I'm not going to bore you with all the rest of the details, but I'm trying to get critical things off of here and things that just make more sense as a load. Plus I need to get 2 spare tires out that are for the horse trailer but are buried inside this load on 2 different levels. So I got to start tearing that apart, but I wanted to show it before I ripped it all apart. It's the flatbed 16-foot trailer plus my grandpa's 11-foot rack trailer plus a pop-up camper bottom half, and then my grandpa's 8-foot trailer that has a topper on it now. So it's all those stacked, and everything else is in between. It has 3 chicken tractors, John Siskovich, Joel Salatin, my own design A-frame. Just missing the metal roofing that I took off so it wouldn't be a big air trap, wind trap, and to save on weight. I can scrounge some roofing once we get to Missouri. Oh, so one thing I wanted to share that was encouraging, even though my heart is not really in the mood for much encouragement right now. I opened up the U-Haul to see what I had as far as plywood scraps and 2x4s and stuff to make a rack, more of a substantial rack up here, so I could put some heavyish totes up there. And it was cool because as soon as I opened the roll-up door here, this plopped down right about there. I have no idea where in the load that was, but somehow God arranged for it to end up getting behind this plywood wall. There's a little gap at the top, so somehow it worked its way back and dropped in so that it would fall out this moment, this night, when I'm discouraged and needing encouragement and just feeling bummed about everything. This dropped down and was a reminder of, that's the plane I had before I met Sarah, that I sold the first year after we were married. Sold it, paid off a bunch of medical bills and debt and stuff, for school debt and things. We paid off a bunch of that and bought diapers and stuff for the kids, and just, life changed. So it was sort of that was a flight we did, a photo flight with my friend Addison Pemberton and Brady Nash, and did a photo flight of, that's me and Sarah with our firstborn in the womb, and then my mom in the back above Deer Park, Washington. And it was a good reminder tonight of God's plans for me, for good and not for evil, to give me a future and a hope, and to not lean on my own understanding, but to, in all my ways, acknowledge Him, and He'll make my path straight. So it was a good encouragement. Thank you, Lord. That's coming with me to be one of the first things to arrive at our house. So I'm gonna put the camera away and get moving stuff. Well, if you've watched this far, I'll share that now is an interesting time for us, because God is preparing us for some things ahead. Today has been a day of fasting and prayer, where we are just seeking God's face, and we're asking Him to direct us and to give us guidance on what the next move is, what we should do next, and what things should look like. Know that whatever you are facing right now, God has a plan for you. He sees the details. He knows the details that you're going through right now. He knew the pain that the frustration I was dealing with that day, when I was having to take time off of the time we were supposed to be driving, and I was by myself moving big heavy mattresses from one trailer on top of another trailer, and strapping them down so they would survive a trip another 1,000 miles down here to Missouri. That wasn't the end of the story. It was just a piece. It was a step. It was a hurdle to get over, and we got over it. I'm encouraged. I'm sitting here under some trees in our back pasture, and just praying and being open to hearing my Father. And He reminded me of that story, and specifically of how I hadn't shared it yet with you. It's been sitting on my phone in the editing app for a long time, almost ready to go. But I was putting it off, and I was feeling like it needed more editing and stuff. But I know that He wants to encourage someone with it, so I'm getting it out there now. God's got this. He sees what you need. He has what you need. And He's ready to give it to you. You need to walk in obedience with your arms open, not with your fists clenched, trying to hang on to what you have, what you think, what you've planned. You need to let go and trust Him. He will see you through, and you will be so blessed. After you've walked through that trial, and after you've done the hard thing, you will receive your reward. And you will see the faithfulness that He had toward you that entire time. So trust Him and move forward. We serve an amazing God who knows and sees everything, and who has our best interest in His mind, in His heart, in His plans. He has amazing things in store for us, and we need to obey Him so we will get to see those things. Here on the back, toward the back of our property, there's an old carcass from a dead cow. It was our precious cow that we thought was going to be our family milk cow. And that didn't work out. She ended up dying. It was another story for another time. We learned a lot. I think it was part of our management of her that we didn't know what we were doing yet. Part of the fact that it was a really hot summer and there was just stresses on her system that we weren't aware of. But she died, and that was sad. But I was just back looking at those bones and being reminded of the fact that it's not going to be long before you or me are reduced to a pile of bones that has no more life in it. We will be gone, and we will be awaiting the resurrection that our Father in heaven has planned for us, for those of us who are following Him. We need to make the most of the days that we have. We need to not waste time trying to hang on to things. We need to not waste time trying to hang on to our ideas of what we thought was in our future, or what we thought we were even supposed to do. We need to not hang on to things. We need to live life with an open hand and an open schedule and an open willingness in our hearts to do what our Father in heaven tells us to do. Time is short. Time is so short. And when our Savior, our Messiah, returns, He is looking for those who are watching for Him, working for Him, who are not sleeping and slumbering and wallowing in distraction. He is looking for those who are preparing to serve Him in the eternity that awaits. Are you preparing yourself for that time? Are you practicing walking in obedience? Are you willing to let Him use you in all the ways that you know He could use you, but you haven't quite availed yourself to Him in that way? Or you haven't put in the hard work of letting Him accomplish that thing through you? Time is short, my friends. It's not going to be long. So make the most of your time that God gives you. The adage, make hay while the sun shines. While you have breath in you, while your heart is beating, make sure that you're spending every day doing what you're supposed to do. Make sure that you're not wasting time pursuing things that really don't matter, that aren't going to last, that aren't going to make a difference for eternity. If you have family, especially if you have children, spend your time with your children. The time is fleeting, and the time that you have with them will not be long. So make sure you're focusing on passing on to them what God has you to pass on to them, so it doesn't stop with you. Don't spend your time chasing things that flee away. And that threaten your time with your kids, the training time that God has given you to raise up these souls and to encourage them in His ways and to walk in His steps and to equip them to do that. Don't waste time chasing after other things. When you're an empty nester, when your job is done raising those children and doing the best job you can do of that, there will be time to chase after other things. So be patient. Put those things off. Focus on what matters right here, right now. And make sure in all you do, be open to changes of plans. Be open to God directing your steps so that He can bless you in ways that you had not dreamed of, not even been aware to think of before. You won't know that those things were within your grasp if you don't open your hands, if you don't walk through the door that He's opening before you. It's going to take courage, and there's going to be some pain along the way, but it's worth it. I'll just leave it at that. That's it for now. Take care.